Hey, we're going to take a look at Wade Wilson and his new home, Union Correctional Institution. That's where death sentence inmates go to wait out their 20 some odd years before going into the death chamber. Because I think it's important that you guys see where Wade Wilson is now residing. Union Correctional Facility is the one and only facility in the state of Florida where death row inmates go. And it's no longer going to be Lee County Jail, where he was, it looked like, and it sounded like, from all the phone calls and Kiosk Kristen calling him and all these jagaloons, as I like to call them, all the jagaloons that are females and males calling him and entertaining him, that's going to come to a crashing halt for a little bit. And he's going to have to get acclimated in a state facility. So let's take a look at this facility. This is actual footage from inside the death chamber and death row, where inmates are being housed and waiting to go see and visit with Mr. Sparky or good old death by lethal injection. These are correction officers inside Union Correctional Institution. Let's take a listen. Cleaner looking cell because it's not used by many inmates. Florida has 291 plus one Wade Wilson. Look at this cell. These are not cells that hundreds and thousands of inmates come in and out of. These are designated explicitly exclusive quarters for death row inmates. So that's why it looks a little clean. People might be questioning it. Why does it look so nice? Not too many get to go in there. This is where Wade Wilson's final moments will be. And this is from the viewing area where media, clergy, family, we heard from Diane Ruiz's father, who said, I want to see this execution happen myself. And I'm sure family members of the victims, Kristine Melton and Diane Ruiz, will be there. But this is a look at the actual chamber. This is the death chamber inside Union Correctional Facility where Wade Wilson is. Coincidentally, the phone line that you see that's called to the governor, that stays open with somebody monitoring it during the whole process, just in case at the last minute there's a stay of execution. But it's very rare that that happens while they're in that phase. So this is what you have going on. This is a direct look. Again, there was an execution at this exact location on Thursday. Execution of Loran Cole, 57 years old, executed this Thursday right here at this exact location. This is only the second time I'm looking at this piece. I saw it late last night and I said, I think Wajicus Wilson's fan club would like to see this. And I know that all of us who are cheerleaders for justice, we're not cheerleaders for murderers. We're not cheerleaders for monsters. all of us that are cheerleaders for justice definitely want to see that, because that's an inside look that you don't get to see on a regular basis.
The state of Florida executed a man convicted of murder and rape. Lauren Cole died by lethal injection for the crimes committed in 1994. Minutes before his death, some in Pinellas County protested that decision. But 10 Tampa Bay's Miguel Octavio explains why they believe more executions will be happening in Florida.
After almost 30 years on death row, the state of Florida executed Lauren Cole Thursday. He replied, quote, "No, sir," when asked about any final words.
It started at this campsite.
A jury convicted Cole and a friend for the murder of John Edwards during a camping trip in Ocala.
2 men handcuffed a 21-year-old Tampa woman.
So he got to sit and get 3 square meals a day, medical attention, working at the facility, doing whatever he wanted to do, but his victims were not able to do anything. This is since 1994. 1994, ladies and gentlemen. Almost 30 years.
Some say Cole didn't deserve the death penalty.
We have life in prison without parole. We have ways to keep people that are a threat to society.
I wonder if these same people would say the same thing if it was their family members. And I'm going to say this. I know probably a lot of them, if you ask that question, they would say, if that was my family member, I would want the same thing. I would want them to have life in prison without parole. Because I want to tell you something. The thinking that these folks have is the same thinking that my aunt has. She's a Catholic nun. God bless her. I love my aunt. And her and I have had deep discussions about this. I was in the police department, still working, hunting evil that commit these heinous crimes. She came to me and had a discussion about this. And I asked her, I said, Aunt Joan, if someone killed my other aunt, your sister, my mother, would you want life without the possibility of parole? And you would not want the death penalty for someone if they killed my mom, your sister? And she looked me right in the eye and said, no. I would not want death. I would want her to be put in jail for the rest of their lives. So it's a deep thinking, and I respect it. I can't subscribe to it. I wonder if something was to happen to one of these folks' family members, if they would still stick to that. I know my aunt, because she's a Catholic nun, definitely did.
Lawyers for Cole say he spent time at the state-run Dozier School for Boys, where he and others were abused and raped. Cole's lawyers also say he was mentally ill and had Parkinson's disease.
He can't be with us, he can't be among us, but he doesn't have to die.
Critics say executions for those on death row may ramp up. Last year, Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill into law requiring only 8 of 12 jurors to recommend a death sentence instead of a unanimous vote. Supporters point to the failed death penalty jury vote for the Parkland shooter as the reason.
Now, I want to keep this on the screen here because this Nikolas Cruz shot and killed 17 students. And I feel so strongly that the families, it broke my heart. It broke my heart to watch the trial and see the pain and anguish on those 17 families' faces. It almost makes me cry talking about it right now. That was a travesty of justice. Governor DeSantis got tough on the death penalty and changed the law after this incident, after the injustice that happened to these families, and changed the qualifications for the voting. Doesn't now have to be in a unanimous decision for the death penalty. And I salute him for doing that. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments. If you disagree with me, I respectfully will honor however you feel. I would never try to dog somebody for having a complete disagreement with me on this, but I am so for it. This guy should have been Old Sparky, should have been fired up, or death by lethal injection. For Nikolas Cruz, he is a cold-hearted, callous murderer. Let me know what you think here in the live. So this is Governor Ron DeSantis after passing the law for no longer needing a unanimous decision. All jurors do not have to agree on it as it pertains to the death penalty and Wade Wilson.
DeSantis signed a bill into law requiring only 8 of 12 jurors to recommend a death sentence instead of a unanimous vote. Supporters point to the failed death penalty jury vote for the Parkland shooter as the reason for the change. In Clearwater, Miguel Octavio, 10 Tampa Bay.
And Cole's execution is the first in Florida since last October. It marks the 7th execution since last year.
So the state of Florida has had 7 executions. 7. They are rapidly executing death row inmates.